Hello everyone and welcome back. Now this video is a pretty textbook showing of how to use a katana army, so I figure after the textbook Naginata video, we'll have a nice little textbook katana video. So let's look at my setup. I only have 5 katana samurai because I'm using a lot of veterans in this battle, so one of them had to sit out. I'm bringing my brand new veteran matchlock unit in here. We'll see how well he does. I'm really excited. 2 Boashigaru, one of them a 3-star veteran. 5 katana samurai, 2 Yari samurai, and 2 Yari cavalry. Over here, he hasn't shown his full force yet, but we have 3 Yari samurai, and then 5 Naginata samurai. Oh no, there's only 3 Naginata samurai, and these 2 are bow samurai. He's got 2 Yari cavalry over here in the forest, and he has 2 bow cavalry over here in the forest too, so they'll show themselves. Another good thing in this video is people always ask me, how do you cover your army so well with only 2 spear units? And I'm going to talk about that because a lot of people are really scared of cavalry and they don't think 2 spear units are going to be enough. But they usually are. Sometimes, when you go against a big cavalry corps, you could really use more. But most of the time 2 is enough, and I'll show you why. So I sent my cavalry up here to this ridge. We'll talk a little bit about this map. This is Sakura Ridge. And the battles here are always going to involve this ridge right here in the middle. It's probably the worst map for skirmishing because both troops are going to just come up to the top of this ridge and they'll be right face to face with each other, and so they're just going to attack anyway. So if you have a skirmishing built army, this is probably the worst map for you. There's just not much skirmishing that goes on here unless one of the people sits in their camp. Then you can, and you have a big advantage, but who's going to sit in their camp on Sakura Ridge? You'd have to be a serious camper to do that. Though they do exist. So anyway, my cavalry is just going to be hidden in the forest. I just have them on reserve. I'll see how the battle develops. I'm expecting the lines to meet very quickly, which, that's the nature of this map. You know the map well, you can plan accordingly, so that's why I'm planning to happen. Especially since that'll be good for me because his cavalry is still far away and irrelevant, so I want to join the battle as soon as possible. Well, his cavalry is irrelevant, and mine is right here next to the action. So that's when he brings out his Yari cavalry. He's going to bring them all the way around to flank and hit from the rear. So knowing that he's doing this, I detach my spears into another control group, put them in the Alt-1 formation, and have them on standby. So my katanas will be the only people going into this charge. Now let's look at the advantages and disadvantages. He has a slight ranged advantage with bow samurai as opposed to my Ashigaru, though I do have a veteran. So it's pretty even on the range side, but they're not going to be very relevant in this battle because the lines are going to be joined so quickly. So missile advantage is almost irrelevant in this battle. Melee-wise, it's 3 Yari Samurai and 3 Naginata Samurai versus 5 Katanas. The Yari Samurai will not be joining the infantry battle because they'll have to worry about this cavalry. So 5 Katanas versus 3 Yari and 3 Naginata Samurai. I have an infantry advantage. So I'm not worried about the infantry battle. That's why these guys are kind of on reserve. They might help with the cavalry if they manage to get around my spears. If he has good micromanagement of his cavalry, they'll be ready to take that too. So I'm just waiting for whatever happens here with my cavalry. I have the infantry battle pretty well in my grasp, I'm pretty sure. So my Ashigarus are going to run up to the front and make some early skirmishing action just to hit his bow samurai. Maybe get him to panic. I'm not going to waste arrows on his Naginata samurai because they're good at taking arrows. So I'm just going to hit his bow samurai, take down their numbers, give myself as much of a missile advantage as possible because, hey, why not have him shooting into the enemy? So he's going to walk right up here into my matchlock. Now I kind of want to illustrate something. This is kind of good. I want to talk about this because he's doing something good here. Something bad too, and I'll talk about that. But when you're attacking a guy who has a nice strong missile position, you kind of want a scapegoat here that's going to sit here and take all the missile fire so everybody else will be safe, and then you need to close the distance. But what he's doing wrong here is he's have everybody else right behind him ready to go. See, here we go. I think they need to be closer. When you're attacking somebody, especially with muskets, you need to close the distance as soon as possible and have that scapegoat. Should have had him in loose formation. But look, they only took 100 casualties. And they're going to cover for the rest of his infantry. So that's what you want to do when you're attacking a strong position with missile units. So my missiles are taking a lot of fire. They aren't touching my bows. They're always hitting my matchlocks. It's just how it is. So I'm moving up my katana. It's pretty sloppy though. But I set a formation right here, a single line right down the middle. And ordered each katana unit individually to attack. So this one took the Naginatas. The rest are just going to sit here on this line and wait for an opportunity. So then I send this katana up right into this naginata, and this one on the far side is going to hit this katana, this Yari samurai. Everybody else is just going to fill in, and we'll just have a nice little infantry battle. So my cavalry is still in reserve, because I'm not sure how good he's going to use his cavalry. If he's very good at micromanaging them, he could get around my spears, and I don't want them to be running roughshod all over the rear of my army. So the cavalry is still on reserve, just in case the spears need help. So here are the spears guarding the rear. The bow ashigaru are still firing at the bow samurai, I believe, but here's where he makes a huge mistake. He brings his general up into melee combat. Now, he may not have meant to, and he may have meant to just put him up really close and they got involved accidentally, but regardless, need to be careful. So I start shooting my bows into his general, trying to kill him as fast as possible. The spears are just going to follow the cavalry, try and cut him off. So that's when he makes his charge. You can know when the cavalry is making a charge because you'll hear a sound and they'll all start yelling and there'll be like a horn. So you'll know when they're charging and you can dedicate your spears to stopping them. So General is just going to rally. He's inspired this katana samurai who's right here in the middle, so he's going to be hurting the general really badly. This side is just outnumbered. That's when I move my cavalry to hit the rear. If I can take out his infantry now, I won't have to worry about his cavalry. They won't be able to hurt me because they can. If everybody's just focusing on the cavalry and swarming them, we're going to win. But I also like to talk about how I prefer smaller numbers of higher quality spears. And this is kind of where that came in handy, because Yari Samurai have an advanced rapidly skill, which I will use here to cut off the cavalry. And they can sprint. See, there I was using it. They can sprint fast and get a nice charge into the cavalry and cut them off. I mean, if nothing else, you just cut them off. And so that's what I did there. So they're sprinting and moving almost as fast as cavalry, just to cut them off. So the infantry battle is not going well for my enemy. His general is getting hurt. That's when he's going to send up his cavalry. I thought he was sending him my general, so I moved the general. Luckily he did not. That's when the cavalry hit the backs of his infantry, and his infantry is just going to collapse. His infantry is gone. All of them now routed, so his cavalry is not a danger anymore. I can focus all my efforts on the cavalry. No big deal. The spears are going to attack this Yari cavalry here, and everybody else is going to gang up on this one, and they're going to get shattered, no problem. All that's left here are the bow samurai, and that's when he pulls out the bow cavalry. Now people might say, well, it was dumb for him to bring them out that late. And yeah, they were. But like I said, this map isn't good for skirmishing, and his bow cavalry wouldn't have been able to do much here anyway. Especially since my bows were full strength. I could have counter-skirmished, and they wouldn't have been very effective here at all. So they're going to shatter. You know, I've never had anybody rage quit in a battle, and I was kind of afraid he would have, because he would have had time to do it because of this bow cavalry. But they're just going to see the battle and just be like, screw that, and shatter. So, textbook katana battle. Detaching the spears, moving them around to guard your swords, follow the cavalry. The bows are going to skirmish as needed, and then afterwards they're going to focus on the general. Katana samurai, move them up in that formation all together, and then individually order each one as needed. Hold down as much of their line as possible, because the katanas are going to have the big advantage in melee, and they're going to win any melee battle, except against other katana samurai. And you know, Naginata samurai are good, but look how I just massacred them. I mean, it was no contest for my katanas, so Naginatas are good, but you have to support them, and he didn't support the Naginatas, so my katanas were able to cut him down. So, just a nice textbook battle here that I wanted to share with you. So, thanks for watching, everybody.